But if someone's truly built themselves the wrong vehicle in the short term to create the long-term assets, just like we say, like having a good business is step one, you might have to reset. And to be fair, I've done that multiple times. I think many business owners are too proud and have a sunk cost fallacy where they prefer to suffer and grind and stay in the poor opportunity and the wrong business for them. Where I completely acknowledge, I built my first agency all wrong. I didn't have the skills or experience at that time. I did my best. I learned a lot, but the right decision for me was to sell that business and move on to the next one where there was a clean slate. And there was the ability to me to build a new business with the lessons I had learned. I got examples of this as well. Some people I've worked with as well is, and I will name him, he's a fan of the show when he comes through, is like Chris Benetti. Like Chris was an incredibly talented guy and is an incredibly talented guy, but he was in the wrong business, right? He was at the time doing funnel building. And when we took his skills and experience and shifted away from that into one niche, a clear offer, and he didn't have the legacy or lag that came with it, dude, he exploded.
Of course he did.
Clean slate, right? Fixing a business that doesn't necessarily been set up right is much harder than starting a new one. And again, like you've done the same thing at a certain point, you've realized that you're in the wrong opportunity, change the opportunity. So I think that is there. A component that goes with that again, I'm not pretending is easy, is just making sure you get your living expenses in check. Because if you are going to make these types of changes, then you'd want to ensure that you don't have like massively high mortgage, or are living in a lifestyle way with expensive cars and things that prevent you from being able to make the changes you need. So you can end up trapped in a short-term shit opportunity by just lifestyle expenses being too hard or high as well. So
that's super confronting. It's super confronting for anyone who's there looking at cars and houses going, ugh. I'm now built myself to be accustomed to this standard of living, only to have a shift that I might need to do in my business and bring it all down. I concur with that. I have seen a lot of business owners go through the same pain where when they're in it, it's so difficult to see because they're in the thick of it, right? It's like, I just need to solve this problem and it's going to get better. I just need to solve this problem and it's going to get better. When in actual fact, to your point, it's like if you burnt this thing down and actually built something better or something new, it would have a better long-term outcome.
Can I give an easy way to tell if you're not doing this right? Because there's a really simple way to look at it. So I would say right now, if you look at your business and your life and everything that's going on, if you're playing the short term and the long term correctly, what should be happen is your short term needs are taken care of. You're producing enough cash to take care of your lifestyle today, pay your bills, do all the things that are there. But your compounding side of things is also working. So without putting in more hours, right, really specifically here, is that in this case, your wealth is growing or your email list is growing or your podcast is growing. There's something compounding which is increasing value without a change in your time. And when you've got that balance right, you're playing the short and the long term really well. If you're just getting up right now and only servicing your short-term needs and not servicing your long-term needs, right, you would notice that, hey, my income's the same, my net worth's not going up, I'm putting the same amount of time in, but in reality, I'm not really making any great ground forward.
Yeah, I would split it out and I'd go personal and business from a long-term perspective. Like if you've articulated it well, I just want to like really agitate that point. Like if you're improving your email list and maybe your podcast subscribers,
building assets,
building assets in the business, check, number one. But also from my experience and just going through this pain myself, I'm like, you also need to generate and build that wealth outside of the business just because of businesses being so uncertain. And that could be additional cash buffers, that could be investment properties, that could be other investment. Just making sure that those two barometers in the business and outside of the business from a long term are increasing is a great comparison around what are you doing right now in your business for the short-term benefits.
Huge, right? It's very measurable as well. It's like, oh shit, I've got to run harder to actually get any more out of it. Well, then not playing it right.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, Check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.